Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that has been making headlines and keeping geopolitical analysts on their toes: the escalating tensions between the United States and Iran in the Middle East. It's a complex situation with a long history, and recent events have added new layers of concern. So, what's actually happening, and why does it matter to all of us? Let's break it down. First, let's set the stage. The relationship between the US and Iran has been strained for decades, but the current flashpoint centers around a few key areas: Iran's nuclear program, its influence across the region through proxy groups, and control over critical maritime trade routes like the Strait of Hormuz. For years, international efforts like the 2015 nuclear deal aimed to manage these tensions. However, the US withdrawal from that deal in 2018 marked a significant turning point, leading to a maximum pressure campaign of sanctions against Iran. Iran, in turn, has responded by accelerating its nuclear activities and flexing its military muscle. This brings us to the recent military posturing we've been seeing. Over the past few months, the United States has significantly bolstered its military presence in the Middle East. We're talking about the deployment of thousands of additional troops, advanced fighter jets like the F-35 and F-16, and powerful naval assets, including destroyers and amphibious assault ships. This buildup is concentrated in and around the Persian Gulf, a strategic waterway through which a huge portion of the world's oil supply passes. The official reason given by the Pentagon is to deter Iranian aggression and ensure freedom of navigation, particularly after a series of incidents where Iran was accused of seizing or harassing commercial tankers. From the American perspective, these actions are defensive. They see Iran's activities as support for groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, and various militias in Iraq and Syria as destabilizing to the region, and a direct threat to U.S. interests in allies like Israel and Saudi Arabia. The harassment of shipping in the Strait of Hormuz is viewed as a direct challenge to international law and global economic stability. By positioning its forces so visibly, the U.S. is sending a clear message: any aggressive action will be met with a swift and overwhelming response. It's a classic strategy of deterrence, meant to make the cost of conflict too high for Iran to consider. Now, let's flip the coin and look at it from Iran's point of view. Tehran sees the American military presence on its doorstep as inherently aggressive and provocative. Imagine having a global superpower's warships and fighter jets patrolling just off your coast. Iranian leaders argue that the US is the one destabilizing the region through its long history of intervention, its unwavering support for Iran's regional rivals, and the crippling economic sanctions that have devastated the Iranian economy and hurt its people. They portray their own military actions, including their missile programs and drone capabilities, as necessary for self-defense. The seizures of oil tankers are often framed as retaliatory measures, either in response to the seizure of Iranian oil by the US, or as leverage against the economic pressure they are facing. Iran's strategy is often described as asymmetric. Knowing it can't match the United States in a conventional, head-to-head war, it relies on other methods. This includes cyber warfare, its network of proxy forces that can create problems for US allies across the region, and its ability to threaten maritime choke points. For Iran, these actions are a way of pushing back, showing that the maximum pressure campaign is not without consequences, and that they will not be pushed around. This creates a highly volatile cat-and-mouse game in the Gulf, where a single miscalculation could have disastrous consequences. So, what is the immediate risk here? The biggest danger is miscalculation. With so many military assets operating in such a small, tense area, the potential for an accidental clash is incredibly high. A nervous commander on either side could misinterpret a signal or a movement, leading to an exchange of fire that could quickly spiral out of control. We've seen close calls before, like the downing of a US drone in 2019, which almost led to retaliatory strikes. Both sides say they don't want a war, but their actions are pushing them closer to the brink. A direct conflict between the US and Iran would be catastrophic, not just for them, but for the entire global economy. It would send oil prices skyrocketing, disrupt global supply chains, and could trigger a wider regional war involving multiple countries. The international community is, understandably, watching with great concern. European nations, who were partners in the original nuclear deal, have been trying to play a mediating role, urging both sides to de-escalate and return to diplomacy. They fear that a conflict would not only create a massive humanitarian crisis, but also send waves of refugees towards Europe. Regional powers like Saudi Arabia and the UAE, while traditionally wary of Iran, are also nervous. A full-blown war on their doorstep would be devastating for their economies and security, which is why we've seen some surprising diplomatic outreach between these Gulf Arab states and Iran recently. They understand that while they may be rivals, a hot war serves nobody's interest. Looking ahead, the path to de-escalation is narrow and difficult. Diplomacy is the only real answer, but trust between Washington and Tehran is at an all-time low. Any future negotiations would need to address the core concerns of both sides. For the US, that means verifiable limits on Iran's nuclear program and a curb on its regional activities. For Iran, it means the lifting of sanctions and security guarantees that it will not be the target of regime change efforts. Finding a middle ground that satisfies these demands is a monumental task, especially with hardliners on both sides who may prefer confrontation over compromise. So, where does this leave us? We are in a state of heightened tension, a dangerous stalemate where both the US and Iran are trying to deter each other through military strength. While a full-scale war is not inevitable, the risk is real and growing. The situation is a powerful reminder of how quickly long-standing geopolitical rivalries can flare up and how interconnected our world truly is. A conflict in the Strait of Hormuz wouldn't just be a distant news story. It would affect the price you pay for gas, the goods on your shelves, and global security as a whole. It is crucial that we stay informed and understand the multiple perspectives at play in this complex standoff. That's all the time we have for today. This is a developing story, and we'll be sure to keep you updated as things evolve. What are your thoughts on this situation? Do you think diplomacy can still prevail? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. And if you found this breakdown helpful, please consider liking the video and subscribing for more in-depth analysis. We'll see you next time.